Good morning, gentlefolk. How are we doing? We're back on YouTube. It's Brekky In The Cave. It's Monday morning.
I might move to Miami, beach house after
Got some good vibes for you this morning. Gonna kick off with this one, Jules featuring Mira May and Daneo. Fabulous flavours. Loads of stuff on the way, so I'm going to leave you with this one to kick us off with. Hit that subscribe button, get involved in the chat. It's Brekky In The Cave.
You think that this is fed up sometimes. Too blessed sometimes. Too blessed sometimes. Too blessed sometimes. Too blessed sometimes. Blessed sometimes.
Sounds of Jules on this one with Mira May and Daneo.
Whatever it is I desire, my vibration is higher, even when my soul is on fire. I don't like to complain, but I feel beat up and tired. I never put my feet up and fight it. I face my fears, I'm not hiding. Trust me, man, go hard to the bone like marrow. Man, go sweet like mango. You wanna get beats, let's tango. You're a street, you're a man, no. But don't come here with no scandal. Don't come here with no. Even something broken, trust me. The girl in freedom with. Gal and pre don't ugly. They wanna get feely and touchy. Smile and weak, them it must be. Came from the ground, but now man's here though. Say that I need my cheers though. Say that I need my flowers, but I'm not gone yet, man's still here though.
Fed up sometimes.
Sounds of Mira May, Daneo and Jules on this one. Good morning, my friends. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are live on Brekky In The Cave. Massive shouts out to everyone joining us nice and early on. We've got a fantastic show on the way, and I can't wait to spend the morning with you guys. There's loads of stuff to discuss. There's loads of conversation to get into. There's loads of topics. There's so much has happened over the past few days, literally over the course of the weekend to begin with. First of all, obviously, it was the weekend, so I hope everyone did enjoy themselves nice and safely. I actually went out for the first time, went down to a friend's housewarming barbecue. That was really, really fun. Although I am starting to get a little bit sick of going to house parties and barbecues and being put specifically on barbecue duty. I can't do it anymore. Every single time I go to a house party these days, it's literally, you're on food. I was like, okay, fine, I'm used to it now. Every time I just walk away smelling of smoke. It's not the best thing in the world. It's not the best feeling. But yeah, loads of stuff happened. We had a bit of drama at the train station, but obviously that was all averted because I'm here safe today. But yeah, loads of football happened, of course. But yeah, it was an interesting one weather-wise, wasn't it? It wasn't like boiling, but it was like humid, and it was a weekend that really, it was a weekend you were going to be sweating regardless of what you did. But yeah, there's obviously let's talk through the football. We've had some really interesting results. The top four race has been completely blown open. We're looking at it now, and you can see literally Leicester are falling away, Chelsea are dropping points left, right, and centre. The only consistent team currently are United, which is a very surprising thing for me to say. I'm often a bit of an anti-United fan, despite the fact I am a United fan. I always seem to be saying they're not good enough here, they're not good enough there. But for once, I've got nothing bad to say, which is brilliant. It's great news. Doesn't make for great conversation because it's like, yeah, everything's fine, and then the conversation ends. But yeah, it was an interesting weekend football-wise, and obviously there is a game this evening which should We'll almost round up this section of results and we can see exactly where everything sits. But yeah, loads of good stuff on the way. Obviously, we've got a new week on this show. We've got a first guest on today. We've got one guest on today, which is Gemini, and I am super excited to chat to him. Obviously, there's loads of stuff to discuss. We're going to be talking about the fact that SHOTTY HORROH called him out quite recently during that John clash. We're going to be looking through, obviously, the music he's been working on as well. For those that don't know, Gemini makes some absolute bangers behind the scenes, and hopefully we're going to be looking at those becoming a lot more to the forefront of what people recognise Gem for. As well as that as well, we're going to be talking about lockdown, we're going to be talking about battle rap in general, we're going to talk about Gnome. There's loads of stuff to get into, and I literally cannot wait to do so. As well as that, obviously, we're going to be looking at a few interesting news bits. We're going to be looking at the fact that City's ban has been overturned in the Champions League, so they will be in the Champions League next season, regardless of what happens with well, they're not going to finish 5th realistically. So yeah, they're going to be in the Champions League next season, so they are pretty much safe in that regard. We're also going to be discussing, well, so we're going to be discussing NS10v10 last night. We saw obviously Getz go up against Cyan Anderson. That was a really interesting one, really interesting clash to break down. So we're going to be talking about that. There's loads of stuff to get into, and we've got loads of banging music to play as well. But before we do that, I want to get into a quick word from, well, not quick word, just a quick run through of the intros, possibly, obviously. Kicking off, you can catch me on different social media platforms. That is Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and, of course, SoundCloud as well. All of those at Cub KXVU. Following that as well, you can check me out, well, this show out via the podcast, which is available on Spotify, Apple Music, and SoundCloud as well. Breakfast with Kovu, the interviews, you can catch it. It's just the conversation. Everything else gets stripped out. And, of course, a quick word from our sponsors as well at Sharpen Digital. If you don't know about them, fantastic company for sorting out your SEO. As you can see, they are the alternative to hiring social media managers. They help this show out a lot, and that is why they are the official sponsor of Brekky In The Cave. So, let's get into some bangers. Now, this is a tune which I've been raving about over the past few weeks. You may have been, you may be on the show this morning purely because you saw the reaction video to it that I did to this tune, and even the Mad About Bars that Getz dropped yesterday as well. Getz has been busy the last 3 days. He's dropped this. He was on NS10v10, and he also got busy with a Mad About Bars session as well. So he's clearly on a pretty intense promo run right now. And he did mention in that Mad About Bars series that there is an album on the way, which I'm very excited to get into. But here we go. We're going to get into this one. Mozambique, at the moment, my tune of the year. It won the Freshest Fry, obviously, this week quite clearly by an absolute landslide. Bearing in mind there were 3 other 5s. This was the 3rd of the 5s, and this walked away with it quite significantly clearly. But there we go. Don't go anywhere, my friends. We are live on Cubcam TV, Brekky In The Cave, also live on Trickstar Radio, of course. Keep it locked and don't go anywhere. Oh, yes.
Yo, what's wrong with these niggas? Man can't tell me about these streets. Man never grew up near no damn beats. Man's got shooters from Mozambique. Shoot off Mozambique. So you lot roll in peace. But if you got something to say, do not hold him, please. They say death comes in twat, so I do not roll in freeze. Are you lot dying to piss? Cause you look like you're holding peas. Pull up, stolen Jeep. Put up, phone the police. Push up your boat and bleed. I heard they cook up the coke and leave. Man's going in there now. I'm just up the road indeed. I swear I search everywhere like I'm looking for phone and keys. Knife in the wind, coke and breeze. Wish your girl never saw that. Poor Candice. 4 man deep, 1 felt froggy, they saw man leap. Run told on the young crow that week. All that week, all that's weak. Hole in your brain, you ain't got a thought that deep. Man think I'm missing a drop. What? I caught that clean.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Speak the streets, bro. Only way, dog. Cops don't know. Pay the streets, dope. Sell some real green dope. Sell some real green dope. Make some real mean dope. Make some real mean dope. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Speak the streets, bro. Only way, dog. Cops don't know. Pay the streets, dope. Sell some real green dope. Sell some real green dope. Make some real mean dope. Make some real mean.
It is Brekky in the cake. That's what it is.
Can't tell me about 28 grams.
We're going to talk about memes in a second because there's been something very funny happening this weekend.
After your fam, rooftop like Taliban. So let me give you lot some advice and stop stunting like Jackie Chan. Yeah.
JK.
You are what you eat, and I still ain't been Hakkasan. And that's them who started the beef. I ain't slid round yet, that's a plan. No lot stolen again. Whole lot of smoke for your gang. Folding notes in my hand, yeah. I told him phone me up when it lands. Yeah, this beef's cold, be cut from Japan. Hold up a clutch from my hand. You can put me in a World Cup final, and I'll throw headbutts like Zidane.
On to South Music Official locking in this morning. Out to man like Namina in the chat as well.
All of this bullshit just cause he owed him a grand.
Throw a like on the video, my friends. It takes less than a second to do. Do me a favour. Come on.
Forget those who
trying to build a channel here.
I keep things sweet. On my table, I let every man eat. And I wish I had a girl who would let a man cheat.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Speak the streets, bro. Only way, dog. Cops don't know. Pay the streets, dough. Sell some real green dope. Sell some real green dope. Make some real mean dough. Make some real mean dough. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Speak the streets, bro. Only way, dog. Cops don't know. Pay the streets, dough. Sell some real green dope. Sell some real green dope.
Out to Stephen Kenyon subscribing to the channel. Big up you, sir.
You are in Birmingham. I'm from South Africa.
What's going on, people? It's Razor. You're live and direct, locked into the waviest breakfast on the airwaves. Man, like cup coffee. Bang.
Anaxesha lamasimba wodwa. Ndizomshiye phansi. Kakade nalancanca iyasindwa yodwa. Iballs zinzima.
We stand in the face of death. Man, them told me I'm stupid. So many years of ref. Only been shot by Cupid. Can't tell me about cuff cuff queff. You only air them things in music. Ran in, take a wrong left. Victim of a shooting. What can they tell me about chef? Like I ain't made food a human. Like man ain't looked at my grill. And I ain't had to barbecue them.
Come on!
What can they tell me about crack? Bark Stanley and Susan. What can they tell me about chat?
Gets is on something different.
There's never had no heavy. My man still got 20. They never found no body. They don't know where she buried. Bad boys from the UK. We don't drive no Chevys. Can't call a foreigner unless it's a Rari like Balotelli's.
There we go, my friends. We are live on Brekky In The Cave. Out to the crew locked in this morning. As I said before, please do throw a like on the video. Makes a massive difference to the natural reach of the video. It means more people can see it, more people get involved, and just in general, it helps the channel out quite a lot. As I said before, out to man like Stephen Kenyon subscribing to the channel. I've just had your notification pop up. Watching from Yorkshire this morning. Good for you, sir. How is Yorkshire at the moment? I literally have no idea what's happening outside of Brighton in the UK at the moment, because obviously I've been very confined. I've hardly left this room, to be honest with you. It's almost like a lovable prison cell to an extent. But yeah, thanks for subscribing to the channel. Everyone else involved as well, if it's your first time locking in, please do hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 1,000. We hit 500 subs in the first 100 days of lockdown. The aim is to hit 1,000 in less time than that. So if you can be a part of that and you can help us get this channel growing and help us really kind of extend this run we're on of growth, it would make a massive difference to me. And as soon as we hit 1,000, we can start monetizing content and start doing this YouTube thing properly. So there we go. Stephen Kenyon says, it's a shithole, man. No, that's okay, I suppose. Oh, don't say that about where you're from, bro. Be proud of where you're from. Everyone should be proud of where they're from. I'm very proud of being from Brighton, obviously. That's something I go on about seemingly unendingly. But there we go. Right, let's crack on with a little bit of news, shall we? City have had their European ban overturned. Now, I haven't really seen many of the details of it. All I've seen is my newsfeed literally over the past 10 minutes going, right, City have now had their ban rescinded and it's looking like they're going to be paying 10 million in a ban. What is the point in this? There is no point. If you are banning a team from a competition, a football team in the modern era, from a competition for spending too much money and then decide to fine them 10 million instead, 10 million is barely one of their reserves wages for the year. That's like, it's nothing. You may as well have said, oh, do some, you get a skipping rope out and do a load of them, and that'll make it okay. It's literally pointless. It's one of the most pointless exercises I've ever seen, especially because now it means what we're going to see is we're going to see loads of other teams now start spending this type of money and go, now City have become the catalyst for it, because you can now look at City and go, oh, well, they got away with it. Why is it different for us? Why is it different for us? And now that's set the precedent. Now it's not going to get any better finances in football. It's literally just going to get worse and worse and worse, purely because they could have acted and they have bottled it. They have absolutely bottled it, and it's I don't want to buy it. Basically, they've bottled it and it's not for sale. So there we go. City are going to be in the Champions League next year, and the thing is, City are literally by far the second best team in England. I don't think anyone's going to argue with that. I think realistically, Manchester City are a very good football team. They've arguably got the best squad in world football. So for them to not be in Europe would be a bad thing, I think, because it means we don't get to see. It doesn't push the competition any further. However, I do think that 2-year ban should have stood, and that's not just coming from a United fan. It's purely because it now sets a precedent that anyone can now go and buy a football team. Well, not anyone, but anyone with the money can now go and buy a football team, and from that, it means now anyone can buy their way into the game without any consequences because City got away with it, which means everyone can now get away with it, which is a bit infuriating, to be honest with you. It's a little bit infuriating because it means what's the point in trying to do things properly at this point, if you know what I mean. So there we go. Out to everyone looking in this morning. As I said before, please do throw a like on the video. Hit that subscribe button as well if you are new to the channel. We're trying to grow the page, and you can see, there you go, there's a little help for you. Bang, there you are. Hit that button there. But we've got loads of good stuff on the way. Obviously, we've got some more news to discuss. What else is on my notepad for the day? Spotify went down over the weekend, which is quite an interesting one because I've never seen Spotify go down. I've always kind of had it. Why's my mic is on an absolute madness this morning? It literally does not want to listen to me. Look at that, just floating away. Honestly, what? You can't get the equipment or the staff these days, literally. There we go. See, about 4 years ago, this would have rattled me, and I'd probably turned the stream off. I'd have been like, no, I'm not doing it. There's no point doing it. Stuff's breaking. The equipment's all over the shop. There's no point doing it. Let's all stop. But right, you see this? The calmness and the collectiveness. This is why you lock into my shows in the morning. Honestly, good stuff. There we go. Is that okay? It's better than it was. I'll fix it properly in a second. Let's run a tune in time for the time being. This one coming to us from Brucey and Charlie P. Brand new from them. A track entitled Cardio. It's doing absolute bits right now. Keep it locked. Don't go anywhere. It's Brekky In The Cave. Oh yes, I'm gonna fix my microphone.
Yeah. You know, see the man like Brucey and the man like Charlie P. are passing through now. Yeah. Now hear this. Yo. Grab a buckle, bust it off. Y'all follow we like some puppy dog. Step in at the dance and we lock it off. Shake it up, pop it off. My DJ, turn up the audio. Yeah, you know it's me like Mario. Hip hip hooray. Skip gym today when you step in at the rave. Pure bass and cardio.
I'm a drum and bass MC, just like Shabba and Skibber. Roll to the rave with my ganja and liquor. Big up Charlie P, he's a bad man singer. Gal wanting the D, Mike Galavantin.
Fixed it.
And quinoa, salad and pita. Stamina slicker, I'll lap a man quicker. No need for the gym, we got the bass and the cardio. Tell them
Sounds of Brucey and Charlie P on this one.
Baseline fatter, deal with the
Pretty sure they actually did a cardio session up in Nottingham this Sunday. Check Brucey's Instagram story.
From Natasha, filling up a belly like
leading the troop.
On a platter, rhythm get shatter. Nottingham breader, looking for the money. Where's the cheese and where's the cheddar? Inside the rave where the people come together. Drums and the bass, let the music last forever.
Yo, grab a buckle, bust it off. Y'all follow we like some puppy dog. Step in at the dance and we lock it off. Shake it up, pop it off. My DJ, turn up the audio. Yeah, you know it's me like Mario. Hip hip hooray. Skip gym today when you step in at the rave. Pure bass and cardio. Hey, we a go work ya like a gym instructor. What? Gally move your waist, gally move your bumper. Charlie P and Brucey, they get in your area. Bassline make you move and exercise. Pass me my weed, Hennessy and grind. Them three together, I go bring me higher. What? Shell down the dance, me on the vibe supplier. Me I'm right to the top when you check the flyer. Yo, first me boss a skank, them bust the shamps. Life's good, got money in me piggy bank. What? Think you had it done, then bring it on. Say, when me sing me song, the gala sing along. Real reggae artists like Lee Brown and Yellow Man. Don't ready tell a man, no make me shell a man. Never once in my life me go and bread a man. Like Brucey, when you see me say mega man. Yo, grab a buckle, bust it up. Step in at the dance and we lock it up. My DJ, turn up the audio. Hip hip hooray, skip gym today when you step in at the rave. Pure bass and cardio, because we mega trendsetter. Yo, never could have changed like Bruce Jenner.
You know we're mega trendsetter, no pressure. Big rhythm coming heavy like bench presser.
Look it up, you say music made me switch it up. Me run things, me not in a no fisticuffs.
You know we switch it up, big vibes lift it up. DJ mix it up, hotline ring it up.
We go box it like a dangagan, no beg no pardon. Cook up like a dan from Knots to London. We move and pam pam, only deal with Antam tonight.
Sounds of Charlie P and Brucey on this one.
3-1-2 selector. Who's on the mic, who's in danger? Bruce on mic, I run the sector. Shot down festival arena. Bad boy behavior. Quick raise up, making
D&B flavours.
Come true, shock a man like taser. Come true, put the plan to paper.
Later we'll be greater. Go and get to shape up.
Charlie P is one of the smoothest people out there, bro.
Yo, me have to get me cake up. Me like me girl natural. Them no need no makeup.
Out to my locked in crew each and every.
On tour, bonjour, on tour, last tune, encore. Once more, big spliff, of course. Highlight, Concord, so bust the skank. Go looking dank, step in the dance. Put up your hands, we make them skank. So grab a buckle, bust it up. Y'all follow we like some puppy dog.
There we go. That's just
Lock
about
it up.
enough of that one. Lovely stuff. We are live on Brekky In The Cave, Trickstar Radio as well. Out to my locked in crew each and every time. Throw a like on the video if you're enjoying yourself this morning. We are going to be talking to man like GEMIN1 at 11 a.m. But there's loads of stuff for us to discuss before then, so stick around, you know. It's going to be a good show. It's a good way to start off the morning, I found, this show. And as I've said before, if you are looking in for the first time, you don't have to sit here and look at my my tired face every morning. If you don't want to, you can check out the show afterwards via the podcast, which you can see in the top right-hand corner of the screen. It's available via Spotify, Apple Music, of course, and SoundCloud as well. We get rid of all the music and we literally just have the conversation straight, and that's usually available about an hour and a half or so after the show finishes, so there we go. Out to everyone locked in this morning, of course, as I said before, please do throw a like on the video, and if you are looking in for the first time, please do excuse my horse racing commentary voice and hit subscribe on the video. We're trying to grow the channel, people, you know what we're trying to do. We're trying to build something special here. Looking at this next bit of news then, Ubisoft announced that the release date for London set game Watch Dogs Legion is now available. Open world video games are very rarely set in London, leaving UK gamers always driving on the other side of the road and thrust into gameplay centered around American culture. This is true. I would love to see more games based in the UK, purely because there's a lot of stuff that happens in the UK. Like, a lot of world culture comes from the UK, let's be honest here. Now, Ubisoft have released the official trailer for Watch Dogs Legion, the latest installment of the Watch Dog franchise, which has swept across the states of America and switched it around to basically move over to the streets of London. Very interesting indeed. Set in a futuristic surveillance state-run version of the UK's capital city, not too far from the truth. Jesus Christ. Gamers will see a reimagining of the Tube, Piccadilly, Leicester Square, and many more of London's most recognisable features and locations. Realistically, if this turns out to just be like a big thing, oh, there's a fight on the London Eye, it'll get a bit boring. I'd like to see them explore different places. I want to see them go to like go to Brixton or Camden or something like that, something a little bit different. Due for the release on the 29th of October, Ubisoft have today, or yesterday when this article dropped, released the script, released the gaming presentation and several trailers. Eurogamer has also dropped a short gameplay excerpt. Take a look at the video online now. So yeah, it'd be cool to see. Wow, there are literally 3 different demos. It would be quite cool to see this happen a bit more, to be honest with you. I'd like to see more and more games based in and around the UK. There's loads of stuff that happens here in the UK. I'd love to see more kind of looking into culture and how those things are happening. And obviously just like the voice acting side of things as well would be quite cool to look at. Just in general, it'd be an interesting thing to explore a bit more of. I mean, are there really any games based in the UK that we know of? I mean, I can't really think of. I think there's like one, not a GTA game, but there's a similar type of GTA game which is based in the UK, and it's very similar, but I can't actually remember what it's called. So it's clearly not that memorable. Let's be real. But yeah, there really aren't that many games set in the UK that are sort of open world features. Realistically, I mean, even like fantasy games, and I'm talking like not even fantasy, just like medieval type games, none of them are really set in the UK. It's very rare you can actually walk around in London in a game, which is just bizarre to me, London being one of the biggest and sort of most thriving capitals on the planet. It's very bizarre that that's never really occurred. But there we go. Out to GRM, supply me with the news for that one. Let's talk about NS 10v10 then, shall we? Because wow, what a show that was yesterday. Gets versus Cyan Anderson. Gets representing Garage. Cyan Anderson representing Grime. Really, really good. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get the results up on screen because it was genuinely one of my favourite things I've watched in a long period of time. I really, really enjoyed it as a fan of both genres. Clearly, it was something I did really enjoy. And just the way they were going back and forth, it felt like a proper clash. You know, it felt like it was literally what it was meant to be. I've seen a couple of the clashes that have been a bit kind of soft and a bit not soft as much, but a bit kind of like not as entertaining, or it don't drag you in as much as this. And you can really you can feel Getz is kind of like the clash culture within it, because he gets quite competitive halfway through it. He's got all the talk. Obviously, he's got all the talk like you would want from someone running a system. And just in general, it was really, really good to listen to. So yeah, first round was Gets played the Little Man remix, and Cyan played What You Call It. Cyan got the vote. Second round, Who Are You versus Pulse X. Pulse X got the vote. No We versus Stop That. Stop That got the vote. In the fourth round, you had Oi versus Doing It Again. Oi got the vote. In round 5, Are You Really From the Ends? Beat Sing Along. Interesting. Round 6, They Don't Know beat Artillery. And Cyan Anderson did the thing that near enough every selector does on NS10v10 when they know someone is coming in from another genre to represent. They played their song against them. Artillery is such a banger, though. If we're going to go through Gets' catalogue at some point, Artillery is probably near the top. Let's be real. Artillery is probably in the top 3 or 4. I think Mozambique's in the top 3 already. I love that tune to pieces. Round 7, Gabriel versus Pow Pow won by a substantial margin. Nicole's Groove beat Get Out My House in round 8. Then round 9 we saw Gash by the Hour beat My All the UKG remix. And then round 10 we saw P's and Q's beat Melody. In round 11 the extra and the extra round went to Next Type over Give It Up. So there we go. Very interesting clash. Very interesting to see the results of it. I think Gets did a fantastic job representing Garage. The way he was talking things up, the way he was talking through things as well. It really, really was an enjoyable thing. So if you haven't seen it yet, I think the video's still up on YouTube on the No Signal YouTube channel. Go and check it out. Definitely worth doing. There we go. Right then, out to my locked in crew. I'll tell you what I'm going to ask you all to do. Give this show a share on your channels. Go on. Do me a favor. Just put it on the Instagram story. Put video call this on the Instagram story. Just video it and go, look, I'm watching this. And let's get the channel popping a bit more. Out to everyone locking in. Out to the new subscribers. I think we've gone up 3 subscribers since the start of the show, so I can't see all your names, but thank you. Keep those subs coming in. Obviously, we're trying to hit 700 by the end of the week, I think, by the looks of things, because we started today's show on 738, I think it was. We started on 738, so we can do 60 in a week, can't we? Yes, we can, my friends. We definitely can. So that's what we're going to aim to do. Let's crack on then. Let's get into some more bangers, because we have got bangers galore this morning, from all different types of genres as well. Where should we go? Let's get into this one then. Double S, Sticky, and Champion on this one. Champion on the co-production, that's why he's not in the name. This one going by the name of Day One. Future Garage flavors here on Brekky In The Cave. Keep it locked.
No if, buts, maybes, I'm in this daily. You're my day one.
Yeah, she been fooling. I can tell by the way that she been calling. And all her exes, they been boring. So knock, I'm the one she adoring. Look, she just want reassuring. While I'm on the road getting cash money all in. It's a different ring when the money cooling. And if you double the hustle, it's bringing back more in. I'm trying to live more life. Grind through the day and wave all night. She be looking with the hazel eyes. I got notes and she my lover, the Mabel type. Her friends ask what she see in me. She just give him air like the B&B. I run this double S, I'm DMC. The type of brother that will pull up in the AMG.
Yeah, I'm too bad, yeah. It's too bad. You gon' miss me when I'm gone. Miss me when I'm gone. It's too bad, yeah. You gon' be mad. You gon' miss me when I'm gone. Miss me when I'm no if, buts, maybes. I'm in this daily. You're my day one. You're my only. You done show me. You're my day one.
I'm like from day one. Small Audi, I really been A1. I treat my gal like my clothes. Car only get the one away ones. So please don't compare me to them, man. Name ain't Ginger, but call me the bread man. If my gal on the vibe, then we're taking a flight. How high I tell her method and red man. Feeling my energy, she already red man. My sort of vibe's nothing like the next man. It's big double, big D, a big deal. But she already knew when she met man. More time double, I be doing the most. I'm like KA anytime I'm raising the toast. Come from city to city, from town to town, from lamppost to lamppost, we run the road.
Yeah, I'm too bad, yeah. It's too bad. You gon' miss me when I'm gone. Miss me when I'm gone. It's too bad, yeah. You gon' be mad. You gon' miss me when I'm gone. Miss me when I'm no if, buts, maybes. I'm in this daily. You're my day one.
Sounds of Double S and Sticky on this one. Proper classic garage flavors.
You're my day one. 365 days a year. No matter far or near.
The vocalist isn't credited though.
You're my
So I don't know.
365 days a year. No matter far or near. Don't know we already here. You're my day one, yeah. I'm too bad, it's too bad,
My locked in crew, of course, thanks for joining us this morning. As ever, let us know where you're locked in from. I'd love to hear about your weekends, what everyone got up to, enjoying the humid sunshine and all that good stuff. Throw a like on the video, hit subscribe on the channel. We're trying to grow it, baby. There we go. Sounds of Double S and Sticky on that one with Day One. Champion on the co-production. Wicked tune. Really good representation of where kind of I want to say more popular garage. I want to say pop garage to an extent is right about now. Really cool tune. Good to see that Double S is back doing what he does best. I think Double S really is a bit of an unsung early hero. One of my, I'd probably put From Day in my top 10 favourite grime tunes of all time. And that's obviously from Double S. So there we go. Really cool tune. And good to see them all very, very active. Good to see Sticky still about. Good to see Champion getting that sort of major label call up as well. Really good times. There we go. Good stuff. Good stuff indeed. As I said before, out to my locked in crew each and every time. Please do throw a sub on the channel and of course throw a like on the video as well. And I want to get some conversation going, my friends. So let's open up the field. In regards to lockdown, what has been something that you have been able to pick up, a skill or something you've learned, or a bit of knowledge, or a tip, or a life hack, or something like that? Give me one of those and throw it in the chat. Let's open up some conversation this morning. I want to talk to all of you lovely, lovely people who are making my mornings 10 times more enjoyable every single day of the week. So yeah, let me know something you've learnt during lockdown. Out to Jamie each and every time. Out to man like Stephen Kenyon, a new subscriber to the channel. Out to South Music Official as well, saying hello this morning. Let's carry on the conversation. Now, this is a weird one because it's the first time we haven't had two guests on the show in a long period of time. So obviously we're extending this first section, this more sort of news, this topical section, and obviously this section works better when we've got some people in the chat with some questions, some people that want to ask different conversational topics and things like that. So please do let us know how your weekend was, and we can go from there. So next up on our list of fun things to talk about this morning, I've just done that one, so I'll get rid of that. Anthony Joshua apparently is going to be a playable character on EA Sports' new edition of UFC, which is very interesting indeed. With the release of next-gen consoles rapidly approaching, the season for new game releases is here, and the latest to be announced is UFC 4, EA Sports' flagship fighting game. So when we're looking at this, it's quite interesting. I've never played a UFC game. It's not been something that I've ever kind of sat down and engaged with. I've always been pretty much just a football game when it comes to sports games. And I tend to play RTS games, to be honest with you. But here we go. Anthony Joshua is now on the UFC game, which is weird because he's not a UFC fighter. I don't know if this is a normal thing that UFC do in regards to getting fighters from different sort of disciplines into the game. But it'd be quite interesting to see how he then fares up, because obviously AJ's a heavyweight. You know, I don't know how much like capoeira would affect, or I don't know what the different types of fighting styles are called, but I'm assuming there are a couple of capoeira type fighters in UFC. I'm not too sure. I genuinely don't know. I don't know fighting that well, so I don't even know why I'm covering this as a story. But it popped up, and I like AJ, so there we go. In the reveal, which dropped on YouTube, the game promises updated graphics, new storylines, and new fighters to play as. Boxer Anthony Joshua has been added to the game as a playable UFC character, which gives the fans of the heavyweight champion even more reason to check out the game. Also joining Joshua is fellow boxer Tyson Fury. So there are boxers in the game, basically. So it sounds to me more than anything else like they're trying to do almost like a Mario versus type thing. Is it Smash Brothers where they just get all of the different Nintendo characters just into one game and they all fight each other? That's seemingly what it is, UFC. It's just with real people rather than made up Nintendo characters. Just throw everyone in there, see, and have them all fight each other and see who wins. It's like what is it like? It's like the Marvel storyline. I can't remember. Is it Secret Wars? I don't know what the Marvel storyline is. But they basically all get put on a planet and then have to work out who's going to stay alive. So there we go. Cracking on then with what we've got for the rest of the show. We've still got some bangers to play, of course. We're going to be jumping on the line with man like GEMIN1 tonight in about 25 minutes or so. Really looking forward to that conversation. As I said before, out to everyone joining us this morning. This show is my favourite part of the day, without a shadow of a doubt. I love waking up with this, with the ability to kind of talk to you guys. And obviously, this platform is growing, it's building, it's magnifying on a day-to-day basis. We're growing up more and more subs every day. We've been averaging around 10 subs a day for the last, I think, 2 weeks, which is pretty mad when we sit down and think about it, considering how new the channel is. I think we're in week 15 now of this lockdown period. I think week 15 or 16, I've kind of lost track. But in the first 100 days, we hit 500 subs, which was amazing. And now we're on 630. I think 8 days after hitting that 500 sub mark. So there we go. We're still growing. So thank you to each and every one of you that's getting involved in that. Throw the stream up, throw a share, throw a like on it, and get involved in the chat, people. Come on, let's have some conversations. That'd be a really good way to carry on the day. But we're going to jump into another banger next, purely because I want to keep the music and the good vibes rolling. So this next one, brand new from what haven't we played? There we go. Brand new from Juma and Fork and Knife. This one dropped on Friday via Cocobolo Sound. They're a label that I really, really like. They have been on this show quite recently. I'm going to try and pattern up an interview with Juma when I'm back on Trickstar, obviously, because I'm back on Trickstar from the beginning of August. I'm going to be back in the building. We're still going to be live streaming the show every morning, but it's most likely just going to be a 8:30 till 10 o'clock stream, purely because that's my showtime when I'm back on Trickstar. It is 7 till 10 in the AM. I'm lucky enough to do this this conversational stuff for a day job. Somehow the pillars of luck in life have swung my way, and I'm able to do this for a day job. So there we go. Which means obviously I'll be going back to work from August, which means 7 till 10. I've already spoken to them in my cat. I am still able to live stream the show, but it'll be from 8:30 till 10 rather than from 10 till 11:30, as my normal slot is 7 till 10. I do run the breakfast show. We'll still have interviews. We'll still have phone interviews. The settings will be a little bit different. It won't be my bed in the background. It will be a studio wall, as you'll be able to see. But it all look nice and crispy. The lighting in there's probably better than the lighting in my room, to be honest with you. So we'll be able to look at that and make things nice and slick looking. For the time being, though, let's get into this one. Keep it locked. It's Brekky in the Cave. Out to man like Nazgul High Tech. Cool name, gotta say. Love waking up to the sound of Kovu always. Well, that's nice. Thank you. It's a very nice thing to say. I'm glad I can help ease the passage of morning for you, my friend. Sounds of Juma and Fork and Knife on this one, out now via Cocobolo Sound. Go and grab it. All stores and all that good stuff.
Coming out swinging, lost a new flow. Head top spinning, shut down the show. Pepper on the beat, season the set. When I add a little heat, reel up the deck. Yeah, Lord of the dance. Can't catch soon as the music starts. Stepping on shoes in my Timberland boots. I be kicking and bruising, I'm moving past. They be like, oi, Drummond's on a mad one again. Done there, damage on a rampage again. Unique, no, it ain't like none of them. Truth be, I don't even like none of them. I got my OGs and my day ones and my cousins. Nothing but love for my brothers. Fork and knife on the buttons. Drummer got bars in abundance. Extra, giving out more than a lot. Shit hot, man, I'm pulling out all of the stops. Expert, guess who's calling the shots? I'm a boss, I'm the one who put the ball on the spot. Then I kick it right out of the park like have it. Who's on what, who's really about it? I'm out here causing a racket. Chat shit like I done all of the packet. And that's why they call it a banger. Talk game with a gulliest grammar. I got the blueprint, I got the patent. I leave a soundboy dead when I patent it. And that's why they call it a banger. Talk game with a gulliest grammar. Got the blueprint, got the patent. I leave a soundboy dead when I patent it. Patent it, patent it, patent it. Yeah, patent it, patent it. I leave a soundboy dead when I patent it. Yeah, patent it, patent it, patent it, patent it. Yeah, patent it, patent it, patent it. I leave a soundboy dead when I patent it.
time is live, you have to go true. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel right now, Cam TV. Stay locked. Yo.
Ringing any bells, my friend, just air. Don't give a shit, don't care. Man's out here on the wing and a prayer. I'm blessed, I and I rise to the test. Arms out here with chest, full court press. Show a man down on the set like we ain't even breaking a sweat. When I'm exhaling the highest grade, like the finest wine, I savor the taste. Elevate up to a heightened state. With it in the mind's eye, see time and space. Chilling with the gods, made it against all odds. I'ma take my reign at the top, whipping up a store. Firing lightning bolts, now you're fighting the final boss. See my name on the board, all time high score. Fuck up the dance floor, pull up but don't pause. We be doing up tours, they call for encores. I'm obliged of course if you go once more. And that's why they call it a banger. Talk game with the gulliest grammar. Got the blueprint, got the patent.
Fork and knife on this one alongside man like Juma on the vocals. Wicked link up this one, and that's quite enough of the UKG vibes. Thanking you. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Out to my locked in crew each and every time. We are live on Brekky In The Cave. This is my YouTube channel and of course live via Trickstar Radio as well. So out to each and every one of you getting involved with the show. Out to a man like Nazgul High Tech saying can't go wrong with a bit of fork and knife on the UKG vibe. Such a sick tune. I agree with you, sir. Fantastic tune and a great way to kick off the morning, I feel. Just coming up to 22:11, so a massive shout out to everyone joining us this morning. I hope this show is, as I said before, making your morning easier, making the day-to-day stuff a little bit lighter, and yeah, you know, kicking off your morning with good vibes and good energy. As I said before, we're going to be talking to a man like GEMIN1 in around 20 minutes or so. He's going to be on the phone with us, and I can't wait for the conversation. It's going to be fantastic. We've got loads of exclusive music to play, so do stick around. It's going to be a good one. Let's jump into another news story next then. NHS workers can expect to land a free holiday to Ibiza next year as a gesture of gratitude for their hard work during the coronavirus pandemic. The local government of Ibiza have been overly backing the Together for Health Hero scheme, which applies to healthcare staff across Europe. Healthcare workers, professionalism and strength, the professionalism and strength of healthcare workers, I should say, because that's a very weird sentence, will be rewarded with the free holiday after continually risking their own lives to help deal with the health of people during this ongoing crisis. Good stuff. So I don't know if this has been organised by has this been organised by the government of Ibiza? Because that would be the local government, it's saying. So I'm assuming it's organised by them. A website for the scheme outlined its aim to reach at least 1,000 in-class accommodation providers in Europe ahead of the initiative, which will be implemented in 2021. So essentially, if you've been a part of this, you're going to get rewarded with a holiday to Ibiza, which, I mean, nice. I don't really think it covers it, if I'm being completely honest with you, but nice is a very nice gesture. It's got to be said. Let's dive into this a little bit further then. I'm going to bring this one over here so I can actually read it properly. A statement from the scheme reads, "It all started with a simple idea in early March. How can we say thank you to those fighting for the lives of our families, friends and communities? How can we say thank you to those putting their own lives at risk for us? Together we are driving change by celebrating and rewarding those who put our community, family and friends first during the COVID-19 outbreak." There we go. That's a quote from them. "Unprecedented times highlight exceptional people. We thank those who have trusted with our lives by gifting them our homes and hotels in Ibiza and across Europe." Oh, so people are giving up their homes for it. Oh, so it's like an Airbnb type thing. That's a sick idea, I've got to say. Speaking about the gesture, tourism councillor for Ibiza Juan Miguel Costa said they aim to compensate those who have looked after us, risking their lives in many cases, and who deserve they deserve all that we do all that we can to share to make sure that they have their holidays and that they meet high expectations. Interesting stuff. According to their website, the free accommodation is set to be available in April, May and October in 2021 outside of its peak season. So basically, at some point next year, you're going to be able to jet off for Ibiza for seemingly a week for a free holiday. Well, I'm assuming you may still have to pay for flights, but it's looking like you're just not going to have to pay for the accommodation, which, to be fair, is fine. But yeah, good stuff. I like it as an idea. I mean, obviously, I don't think that giving someone a holiday to Ibiza can really make up for them risking their lives on a day-to-day basis. I'm being honest, and I don't think anyone would agree that that's the case. However, I do like it as a gesture because it's something that they don't have to do, but they're going, look, we want to do something nice. So there we go. Big up the local government of Ibiza offering NHS staff workers a free holiday for all of their sacrifices they are making during the current period of time. Good stuff. Out to my locked-in crew each and every. Throw a like on the video if it's your first time locking into this particular show, and of course, course, hit that subscribe button. We've gone up a few subs already today, and as I've said before, we are on the run to 1,000. We hit 500 in the first 100 days. That was 10 days ago. We're now approaching 650. So if we can do this, if we can do it in 50 days this time, that would be phenomenal from everyone. So get involved. That's all I'm saying. Get involved. Hit subscribe on the channel. Let's keep things growing. So there we go. Let's get into another banger after discussing that bit of news there. What have we got on the way? This one coming to us from Rone, going by the name of Green Lights. Really like this tune, actually. I should have played it on Friday, but I think I did play it on Friday, to be fair. But I should have played it a little bit earlier on because it is a bit of a banger, and I nearly forgot to do it. So we're going to get into it now. Out to my locked-in crew, each and every. As I said before, you can catch me on different social media platforms at KXVU. That is on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and of course, as you can see in the top right-hand corner, on SoundCloud as well, at KXVU. So it's very memorable at. It's quite difficult to forget it, to be honest with you. And again, a quick shout out to our sponsors, Sharpen Digital. If you are looking for someone to help boost your project across social media, it's the best place to go. As you can see, they are the alternative to hiring social media managers. They help this show out a lot with SEO and making it discoverable. Officially the sponsor of Brekky In The Cave. There we go. And hit a subscribe. Go on, do us a favour. Do us a favour! Let's crack on then. This one, Rone with Green Light.
Wanna know how you get your G's tight up. I really wanna know, and I'm guessing when you're calling me, you wanted me to pull up. Coming straight to your door, so it's like red light, green light, go. When you're ready to give it up, so it's like red light, green light, go. Baby, just say you know what's up. Girl, I really wanna know how you get your G's tight up. I really wanna know, and I'm guessing when you're calling me, you wanted me to pull up. Coming straight to your door, so it's like red light, green light, go. When you're ready to give it up, so it's like red light, green light, go. Baby, just say you know what's up. Take it slow, no need to rush. I can make you feel it, make you blush. I'm so tempted to touch. Just know I got you, and you got the juice. We've been on the move, just know I got you, I only want you. I've been on the block, see me getting wild. We can do what you really wanna do. Never mind, your words on my mind. Them other guys just make you blind. Minimize all them force inside. Take your time to realize. Close your eyes, just come for the ride. Do you feel the energy come alive? We can chill all the way to July. The green light comes alive in the night. Girl, I really wanna know how you get your G's tight up. I really wanna know, and I'm guessing when you're calling me, you wanted me to pull up. Coming straight to your door, so it's like red light, green light, go. When you're ready to give it up, so it's like red light, green light, go. Baby, just say you know what's up. Red light, green light, stars under the light. Tech time, slow wine, bring it back right. She too cold, frostbite, she colder than ice. Arch back, rewind, I know with the vibes. She clean, yeah, she got that. And she carrying back without a rucksack. I don't want no problem with her, so I'ma stop that. If I get straight time, then I'ma drop that. Never mind, your words on my mind. Them other guys just make you blind. Minimize all them force inside. Take your time to realize. Close your eyes, just come for the ride. Do you feel the energy come alive? We can chill all the way to July. The green light comes alive in the night. Girl, I really wanna know how you get your G's tight up. I really wanna know, and I'm guessing when you're calling me.
Big tune, this one coming from Rone, track entitled Green Light. Really, really cool flavours.
Green light, go. When you're ready to give it up, so it's like red light, green light, go.
I think across the UK right now, we are in such a strong position music-wise. It's fantastic to see.
Yo, this is Ellie Sabine Singh, and you're listening to Breakfast with KXVU.
Yo, this is Skepsis, and you're listening to KXVU on Breakfast.
There we go. Out to everyone sending me shout-outs. I don't know why they loop. I'm trying to work it out every single day, and then when the show finishes, I forget that they loop. Some of them loop, some of them don't. I don't know how to change it. I genuinely have no idea. But there we go. Out to Skepsis each and every time. Out to the locked-in crew, of course. Yeah, we are going to be getting into that conversation with Gem in just a few minutes or so. We've got one more news article to get through beforehand, which is indoor test events in the indoor, basically, industry. The indoor industry. That's the thing, apparently. But there we go. go. The indoor events industry in the UK is set to start testing the ability to reopen properly. So here we go. A series of socially distanced indoor test events are set to take place in the UK as plans towards allowing venues to reopen are formed. Guidelines have been published for indoor venues and performances at the London Palladium and Butlins holiday parks. Brilliant. Fantastic. Butlins and the London Palladium. That's what everyone really cares about. No one cares about clubs. No one cares about music venues. No one cares about any of these things. What we care about is the London Palladium and Butlins holiday parks. Brilliant. Thank you. Oh, God, that 1.53 billion is not going to clubs, is it? Let's be real. It's not going to venues or clubs. It's going directly into an alley. I'll tell you what it is. It's going directly towards the Royal Albert Hall, and they're going to give it a big paint job for $1 billion. That's what's going to happen. I guarantee it. Culture Secretary Oliver Dowden said this is an important milestone for our performing artists who have been waiting patiently in the wings since March. Everything here already saying in the wings. It's a theatre term. All of that money is going to theatres. None of it is going to go to club. Clubland literally wanted 53 million of that budget to keep everything open. I guarantee it doesn't even get that. I guarantee out of that 1.53 billion, all of it goes to theatres. Oh my word. So frustrating. It's so insanely frustrating that a paint job at the Royal Albert Hall is apparently more important than literally the majority of the UK's weekend activities. It's absolutely flipping bizarre. But here we go. Open air gigs, festivals and theatre shows have also been greenlit and can take place from Saturday, July the 11th with reduced capacities and electronic ticketing in case details are needed for a track and trace system. Dowden, of course, said, of course, we won't want to see crowds flooding into venues, but from July the 11th, our theatres, operas and dance and music shows can start putting out outdoor performances and socially distanced audiences. Operas! They're saying operas. They're not saying club nights. They're really trying to not say venues, because as soon as you start saying venues, you have to follow up on it. Oh, God, it's so aggravating. It's beyond belief how aggravating this is. Apologies to anyone who's listening and who's seeing me get very agitated by this, but it makes no sense. Why? Why operas? Why theatres? Why not venues that actually need the money? I guarantee the person who owns the Royal Albert Hall is fine. Money-wise, I guarantee you he is fine. Or she, or whoever it is that owns that building is fine. I'm willing to put money on it. However, I guarantee most other people aren't. So there we go. This marks the start of Stage 3 in the reopening of the live entertainment sector. Stage 4 and 5 will see indoor performances with a limited audience and then indoor performances with a more sizable audience allowed. This could mark the point when clubs are able to start operating, although there is no date currently set for when these stages will be reached. So it's interesting. I mean, how does everyone in the chat feel about this? Do we think that 1.53 billion is going to go towards the stuff we're interested in, or do we think it's going to go to a very specific area of London, literally for paint jobs on old buildings that people visit with who have money? Realistically, where do we think this money's going to go? Because I don't think, knowing where we are currently, I cannot see the spending being allocated towards people's nightlife. I really, really cannot see it happening. However, I would love to see it happen. If it does happen, I'll happily stand up and say, I've been proven wrong on this one. And I know I'm getting political because I try not to get political on this show, but they're very interweaved at the moment, this idea of funding for venues to keep essentially nightlife open. They're very, very intertwined, so it's difficult to talk about one and not discuss the other. But I do wholeheartedly feel we're at a point now where the UK quite clearly is very reliant on its nightlife, and that is provided through clubs and venues, not through theatres. Like, there's obviously money to be made through theatres and through the arts, but it's not on the same level. If you look at a lot of, if Brighton, take a perfect example of this, I guarantee there are nearly 4,000 or 5,000 people in those clubs on the seafront every weekend, every evening of the weekend, Friday and Saturday. I guarantee there are at least 5,000 people spread across those clubs. Shoosh takes 1,000 people a night. Concord can take 1,000 people. Can take nearly 1,000 people a night. I don't know what the Arch can take. That can take nearly obviously 500-600 as well. Patterns can take about 400 as well. There's literally nearly 3,000 people there. If you were to put £50 average, I'm not even going to get into the maths because it will frustrate me too much. But there we go. Interesting and frustrating at the same time, this story. The fact that indoor tests are being planned, but all of the conversational speech from this article and everything that they're allocating it towards and alluding towards is basically saying theatres or outdoor spaces. So festivals, I think, will be fine in the long run. But I think realistically, I can't see much money going to clubs. I think we are in a bit of trouble, my friends. I think we are in a bit of trouble. Out to Mixmag as well. Obviously, very sad to hear what's happened with them. We have discussed it a few times on this show. I'm just looking around to see if there's any other specific bits that they've put up today that we could take a look at before we jump into this interview with man like GEMIN1. Nothing that I can see, so there we go. Right then, out to everyone locking in this morning. We are going to be jumping into this interview with man like GEMIN1 in just a few minutes or so. And as I said before, thank you for joining me this morning. It's been a genuinely very enjoyable experience for myself. I do love doing this show. It's what kind of definitely what gets me up in the morning. Otherwise, I would have spent lockdown literally rolling around in bed with nothing to do. So thank you for basically assisting in me not procrastinating and giving me something to keep the cogs turning, you know. And I think that's a good thing to do. I think it's good to make sure that we are staying as busy as possible during this very odd period. It's quite easy to get I'm trying to think. It's quite easy to get a bit complacent, I'd say. And when I say complacent, I don't mean not wanting to do anything. I mean, it's quite easy for that to be normalised, that idea of, we've got nothing to do to be normalised. And then suddenly, when working life comes back, a lot of people are going to struggle with it. They're going to struggle with getting up out of bed. They're going to struggle with all these things purely because they haven't been kept in a rhythm, which I've tried very much to do quite significantly. So thank you to everyone who has played a part in doing that by looking into this show. There we go. Right then, we're going to jump into a tune in just a second from Mr. Williams, and it goes by the name of Lyrics Collection. And then we're going to get onto the line with man like GEMIN1. I'm going to get his number dialed up in just a second. After that, obviously, we will be finishing up the show, so let's get a couple more shout-outs in. Obviously, out to everyone in the chat right about now. It's good to see you all live in there. Out to Jamie, out to Nazgul, out to Stephen, out to South Music Official as well, out to the silent listeners who are locked in and not getting involved in the chat, but come say hi, come say hello. We're going to be talking to Gem in just a second, and there we go. So thank you as per. Throw a sub on the video if you can. Do us a favor. Let's keep things rolling. So sounds of Mr. Williams on this one. Wicked tune. Obviously, we love to play as much dancehall as we can on the show. I'm very influenced by dancehall, by Clash culture. That's why whenever a decent Clash goes off, you can come on this show and hear me talking good about it and hear me getting involved with it, because I just love it. I love the energy of Clash culture. So there we go. Let's crack on with this one then. Mr. Williams with Lyrics Collection. We are live on Brekky In The Cave. It's youtube.com/CubCamTV, Trickstar Radio, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, now this coming thing called I on Lyrics Collection. Special request reach out to all the listeners right around the world. Internationally. Yeah, and them style of tribute to request reach out. Teach them. Nicodemus, you don't know original naturals. Godfather, value more than diamond and gold. Who's that? Lyrics Collection. Let me tell you about my Lyrics Collection. Watch out now, Lyrics Collection. Let me show you about my Lyrics Collection. Not to dread, a lyrics where them want to have it more than more. It coming like the sun grain pan the seashore, and coming like a fountain non-stop pour. The lyrics where may have to keep them inshore, and stock them from the basement to the 4th floor. May have my uncle will live on the 5th floor. A nighttime patrol with a 404, and make sure everything's safe and safe in a me Lyrics Collection. I make me teach about me Lyrics Collection, and I take this a me Lyrics Collection. That I youth with a classic selection. Who's that? And just in our day when me gone on tour, and they are New York, then we touch Baltimore, and left this so then we they are San Salvador. The girls them see with them short dress, yes senor. Them say them want more, them a ball pop for four. And style and pattern, that is what them adore. And step off of the stage about 4:15, and get a phone call when me couldn't ignore. With me answer the phone, me hear me uncle a roar. The way the man a roar till him throat gets sore. Me say uncle please calm down and tell me something more. Him say youth me no really want to disturb your tour. Still 2 boy broke in on the 4th floor. Upstairs me there and me a whole a one snore. By the time me wake up and me start explore, me see one of them run off through the side door. Them take one of your pattern from about 94 and take a ashtray, them not take not no more. Me say alright uncle, everything is insured, and plus furthermore we have enough style galore in our Lyrics Collection, and not a dread in our Lyrics Collection. Well watch out now, pattern and style you know we have that pack up. It's like a warehouse with enough things stack up. Enough boy a talk and a chat up. Them done already know so we no wrap up. We touching at the place and now the whole place block up. We grab the microphone, them a say all and jack up. The girls them a go up and them 2 arms wrap up. Gunshot a beat still left that up to me lyrics collection. And not to that to me lyrics collection. And watch out now, the boy them take a one piece from the gallery. I only hope that can help them salary. Got one piece them take say that no matter me. Can't stop it done from touch of Italy. Can't stop it done from touch of Miami. Cause lyrics where we have them know a good quality. I just in our day when we did Germany. Them wonder the youth in a this ceremony. A real life thing and it is no fantasy. The people in a Japan them well want to see. Lyrics collection. I bet me tell you about me lyrics collection. And not to this a me lyrics collection. And that the youth with a mass.
Right then, my friends, we're back inside the building. How are we doing this morning? It's been a very enjoyable start to the show. Out to everyone locking in. Of course, we are moving into our special guest for the day. And as I said before, it's the first time we've had one guest on the show in a long period of time. But I'm really excited for this one. Man like GEMIN1's in the building. How are we doing, sir?
Well, go on, brother. What are you saying? I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good to hear, man. Good to hear. It's good to hear from you. Obviously, it's been a brief minute since we had a chat. Last time I saw you,
it's been a while.
It's been a bit of a while. Obviously, I think the last time I saw you was probably at a London event I was at, which is probably it's been a long time for me, to be honest with you.
It's been a while. You've been doing your thing, though. I've been hearing your name in like music circles for years now.
Oh, I love that's good news to me, man. That means we're doing things correctly. Hopefully, anyway. I hope it's good.
I know certain DJs that call you their favorite DJ.
That's a madness. That's a madness. Well, there we go. Thank you. What a compliment to start the show off. Lovely stuff. So, man like GEMIN1's in the building. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the conversation. So, let's kind of start things off. Obviously, with what's going on like right now. How have you been finding lockdown as a process?
I mean, for me, lockdown hasn't been that bad. Like last year, I was on a different type of lockdown. Just my life was different in it. So this year was kind of alright for me. I've set up studio in my crib, so I've just been working from home. But I can see the effect it's had on like a lot of people. Like it's definitely had a negative effect on a lot of people I know that aren't used to like. I feel like people that aren't like engaged in social media, so people that don't have like a strong social network, they're the ones that suffer the most, because a lot of people can fill the void of like actually being with people by engaging in social media and things like that. Definitely. But for me, it's been alright. It's been actually a bit of time to work, so I've just been staying focused throughout this period. So
awesome, man. I mean, that's good to hear. It's good to hear about the sort of home studio setup coming into play as well. Like with that, is that something you've been looking to do for a while?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a studio before that when I was a younger, but I gave that to one of my brethren who was like more focused, so he was like the engineer. But then I thought, while this is going on, I'm like, nice. Like, especially for just creative control, that man can just bang out a demo here so I can hear what my stuff sounds like before I take it to like what I actually record, you know what I'm saying? So it's just mainly for demos, like it's mainly just so I can write something and create it straight away and then be like, all right, I like this or I don't like this, or instead of working out when I get to the studio. Like, sometimes you'll make something and be like, you know what, I don't even like this too tough.
Yeah, I feel that it almost gives you like almost like a free sketch of what you're going to do to an extent.
Yeah. It just lets me create better, like literally, and I'm just trying to stay focused on that. So
awesome, man. I mean, obviously with the music side of things, it's something that I feel to an extent you've been pushing towards making that the main thing for a fair few years now, and obviously I'd say a lot of the following and stuff that you've kind of picked up over the years obviously has come from that sort of more UK battle rap circuit. Like how have you found kind of trying to push like followership more towards the music side of things?
Do you know what? To be fair, like right now and for the past like couple years, I've actually been in the best position music-wise to do things. But I mean, it's pretty much public knowledge, but like around 2 years ago, nearly last 2 years ago, I got in a court situation, so everything kind of got put on hold for like near enough 14 months, because that's how long it took for my case to be over. So now after that, then it became the COVID situation. So I'm just sort of waiting to get things back, like waiting to get the ball back rolling, but I've got things there ready to like drop. So that's just my main focus, like having as much things ready, so when I drop one thing, I've got about 10 things that are ready backed up after that. But
definitely, man. It's a good way to be, bro. I've got to say, it's a good way to be.
Yeah, no, it does. What I will say is that battle rap has its benefits and its hinders, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to the music thing. But it's mainly, what I'd say, is mainly the fans.
Oh, I think I lost him. try to reconnect. I think that's probably my end, to be honest with you, because my signal's looking a little bit wavy. Don't worry, we'll get him back on the line in just a second. We have Brecknicles as per. We nearly had a show without them, but there we go. No worries. Let's get back on the line. But out to everyone locked in this morning. We are live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky in the Cave. Hopefully we can reconnect in just a second or so. There we go. We're back inside.
Yo.
We're back inside.
Back inside. Yeah, but like I was saying, I feel like battle rap is mainly you got to find a way to make fans engage with you, because I don't think a lot of battle rap fans listen to rap music like on a day-to-day basis, especially like UK rap music.
Yeah,
so you got to find a way to just use it as a platform. I just say battle rap's a platform. I don't say it's the place you're trying to gain your entire fame or your entire career from, you know what I'm saying?
I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that. And I think there are some very good examples of people who have kind of used it with that kind of that springboard effect to an extent. I mean, you look at people over the years. There's been a fair few people that have almost like kind of come and gone with it all the way back from Pro Green all the way through to people today. For instance, like yourself, like Luna, like a Shotty, or for instance, to an extent myself as well in that sort of regard.
Exactly,
like
Brucey.
Yeah, Brucey.
Even Wilsey, when you look at what Wilsey's doing with SBTV, like there are people that are doing a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, man. I think that's
even Izzy Gibbs.
Yeah, even Izzy to an extent. Like I think, I think when we kind of look at it as a platform and what it's kind of become in the UK, it's almost become this kind of like it's like a staple of something that most rappers have done at this point.
Yeah, like there's a lot of people that have done it. I would say battle rap, there's like a lot of things I say need to change in battle rap for it to really sort of excel where it needs to be, but that comes from, I feel like, within inside the culture. That's not something that will just happen naturally.
Yeah. So when you say that, do you mean kind of like mindset? Do you mean like like dive into that a little bit further if you can?
Honestly, if I'm trying to keep it political, but we need to appeal to a wider demographic, because we don't, as a culture. Battle rap doesn't appeal to like the same people that turn up to a grime rave.
Yeah.
Or the same people that turn up to a drill rave, you know what I'm saying? So the people that are listening to rap consistently don't actually watch battle rap, because there's things in battle rap that put them off. And I feel like battle rap's still kind of clinging on to the golden days, where a lot of the fans from the golden age don't exist no more.
Yeah.
They've grown up, they just don't exist. I feel like a lot of the fans from like the golden don't flop era, where videos were getting 100,000, 200,000 views on a normal one, they don't exist no more. But we're trying to sort of recreate. I feel like it's a constant trying to recreate that, instead of following maybe where battle rap is sort of going in America, for instance. Or just look at like when I did fucking Summer Madness. There's 800 people in that building that have never been to a UK battle rap event.
Yeah.
Same when I did Battle of the Brave. And it's like, I'm not saying exclude either, but I'm saying there's another fan base here. There's 800 people willing to pay like something crazy. Like them tickets were like £80, you know?
Yeah. So there are people out there willing to spend a lot of money, essentially, if the culture not necessarily was to shift, but was to become a lot more inclusive to their audience, essentially.
Yeah, I feel like, look, we've done things like over the years that have almost been like, look, I love battle rap, but we've done things that have been like a parody of what real battle rap is.
Yeah, I feel that.
You know what I'm saying? And that's pushed the culture towards like, that's pushed like even people being afraid to do things because it gets classed as like bad bars. Like, I love the Bad Bars series, but I look back and it probably did a lot of negatives, you know what I'm saying? Like, just as the way people started they started being overly critical, I feel like. And people's styles just got taken a piss out of, and it became like just more take the piss out of someone than just rap.
Yeah, I feel that, and to an extent as well. When you start putting those almost like sort of sarcastic boundaries on things, that every single thing has to always 100% make sense every single step of the way. And
that's not what rap is.
Yeah,
rap is it makes sense how I'm telling you it makes sense. Because it's from my brain. You can't like that's what I realized. Like, I love Bad Bars. Don't get it twisted. It's hilarious, but you can't actually tell someone something doesn't. If they can tell you why it makes sense to them, they're right because they wrote it.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be good. You can be like, nah, that's not. But it's like, nah, but that's what I said. That's what I meant. Like,
Yeah, I feel that, and I think as well, with that, when you kind of look into it as well, as I said, I think it does stifle creativity a bit, because as you said,
that's what I was gonna say, that it affects the creativity,
because it means people are almost kind of like people become a bit almost too boundaried, and to an extent, people want to keep things, as you said, very much kind of appealing to this almost nostalgic generation of fans that, as you said, aren't there. It's almost like trying to appeal to an empty room when there's literally a room full of people next door, just because you once had a good party in that room rather than this other room.
And I feel like it's the battlers as well, because I feel like a lot of battlers wouldn't like if the demographic changes a bit, a lot of people's position in battle rap changes.
In what sense?
The people who are looked at like as I'll say this with my whole chest, there's not a lot of people that would stand on, don't even have to say URL, but a Battle of the Brave stage, just that many people like that. There's not that many people that can do it. Like it's not as relaxed as it is.
Yeah.
Like these people will boo you. I love the energy. I love that. I love the fact that they'll boo you, they'll cheer for you, they'll make as much noise either way. Like, but it's a pressure situation. I remember saying it to, there's only a few people in the country who know what it's like. That's me, Soul, Tony D, Scoop. That's it.
Yeah.
Nobody else in the country can even comment on it. And I remember saying it on a post once to Soul. I was like, bro, nobody knows what it's like this crowd. And he was saying, he's like, nah, I'm sure I'll do well. And I'm like, you can do well, but bro, like, I had that crowd booing Soul, you know what I'm saying, in the first round. But it's like, bro, I know that crowd isn't something, and I didn't even know I was going to be in front of that crowd, because I didn't know what the crowd would be, because I didn't know if it would be like Battle of the Brave or not. And even with Battle of the Brave, I didn't know that was the crowd. But if you have the mindset of you're preparing for that crowd, cool. But if you have the mindset of you're preparing for a normal crowd, it's not going to go the same way you think it was. And the jokes, like there's certain people that couldn't rap on that stage that are the best here.
Yeah, no.
Certain of the best people in the country could not stand on the stage. And I feel like that's what a lot of battlers are scared of, the switch.
Yeah, almost like that thing of the foundations of what makes them like super, super popular. If you remove those, if you almost extend those foundations, there's sort of room to fall. There's room to fall down, essentially.
Yeah, even me. I'm not saying like it wouldn't affect my career. I'm saying everyone, but I feel like people are scared of that because certain people would have to really change, or they just couldn't step over here. But if we look at what's popular, just rap-wise, it's more the gritty stuff. Like, let's just be real. Like, rap is based on gritty style of rap, and UK battle rap that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way to kind of break it down more than anything else is on a Thursday evening when all the music videos drop. Look at GRM Daily, look at Mixtape Madness, look at all these UK music platforms. And the thing is with these as well, it's not as if they don't put grime music out there as well. It's not as if they don't put like Afrobeat tunes out there as well. These are platforms that essentially promote the majority of UK music. But if you look on a Thursday night and look at what videos are popping, knowing New Music Fridays the next day, if you look at what tunes are popping, they're all drill tunes. The drill tunes are the tunes that are literally hitting the biggest numbers, and I would say in battle rap that relate, if you were going to try and like correlate it to a kind of genre, it would relate a lot more to the grittier side, like quite clearly.
Yeah, that's the point. And I feel like even music, like we're trying to stay in one lane, and I feel like we need to get out of trying to be a niche thing and try and be a part of the rest of the culture, have rappers at events, have this and rappers actually care for. A lot of them do. I know people that just listen to me, like literally just listen to me, maybe Tony and Shotty maybe, because Shotty is big enough that if they know me, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
But, and it's because I can't tell them to, yo, listen, you're like Tox, you're like Tally, I can't be like that and filter through all the people I know they're not going to like. Even my brethren, I've got brethren that come to my battles, watch me and go on.
That's mad.
They won't stay for watch they like Tony, they know who's on the card, or they might watch the shocks, like, because they've seen me battle these people, so they get familiar like that, and they start knowing, all right, this person's right.
Do you think to an extent then there's almost like a kind of I don't even know the best way to describe it, but to an extent a sort of underlying arrogance with UK battle rap that people are going to like what they do regardless, even if they are almost purposefully not appealing to a certain demographic?
I mean, I definitely feel like there's arrogance in battle rap. Like, it comes from within the fans and the battlers thinking, like, it's just thinking they're better rappers than everyone else.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. And this literally just comes from battlers feeling like they're better rappers than everyone. That's literally where it comes from. And then the fans thinking that what they like from a battler is right, if that makes sense. Like, we have UK fans that you can't. Like, we have UK fans that hate URL. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, that
makes no. Whenever I hear this, it makes me like not understand the UK scene, because it's like, but these lot are better than these lot are better than a lot of the stuff going on right now.
Yeah, in every aspect, from a from a performance angle, from a written angle, for the most part, like it's
from a rapping ability. Angle,
rap ability is a good way to put it.
Believability. Even if we don't go to URL and we go to like RVE. So it's like, how can you not watch this stuff, but you're a battle rap fan?
Yeah,
you're watching this GEEW and all these other, like, it just don't make sense to me. It's like, are you a fan of it, or are you just a fan of our version of it, which is almost like slightly trying to parody it sometimes?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah, no, I feel that definitely.
I don't like that. Like, I get the people that do it well, like Shuffle T, Marlo. The like pillars are the people that do that style really well, and actually are doing it kind of ironically, because they can do it. Like they're not just taking a piss and the stuff's like done badly. They write incredibly. You know what I'm saying?
There's like a level of they get it enough to be able, they get it and are good enough at it to have a parody angle.
It's almost like a gimmick in a gimmick type of thing, because it's like we're taking a piss, but we're actually really good at this.
Yeah,
type of thing.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate that style, and cool. Even them, they're smart enough to actually probably be able to flex on one of those stages.
Yeah, I feel it's like one of those things where it's like it could go either way with that type of thing.
It could go either way, yeah. I'm not saying 100%, but I'm saying I would never count them out, because they're smart enough.
Yeah.
And they can write, but I just feel like the fans don't, like, even when you look at the URL thing, there weren't barely any fans that come to the UK events, the normal UK events. And a lot of people, I feel like maybe a lot of fans are scared of the people in the build. I don't know. Like, I feel like the atmosphere maybe intimidates them, because they're used to going to an event and knowing everyone and feeling that family, and they feel entitled. We have fans that feel like entitled, that they're part of the culture, and which is cool. I respect that, but you can't say what's right and wrong.
Yeah, I
remember when that URL thing happened, everyone saying, "Oh, everyone in there's a dickhead." I'm like, no, everyone in that building is sick, and I'd love to battle in front of them 100 times over.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a couple of things we can look into on this, and I want to carry on this conversation in just a second. However, we do have a track or two to play this morning, so we're going to get into this one from yourself. It goes by the name of Haymaker. We'll have a bit of discussion about it afterwards, and carry on this conversation. It's really enjoyable. It's a really enjoyable one so far. So yeah, don't go anywhere. We're live on Cubcam TV and Trickstar Radio. Gemini's in the building. Keep it locked.
Hey fam, I swear down now, you know when I'm crashing these, man, it's like boxing, fam. I mean, I'm giving up punches, gotta duck their bangs, count up, put them on the ropes, then hit them with a haymaker.
Yeah, hit him with a left, hit him with a right, try swing back, dip to the side, punchlines make the clash feel like a fight, got him with the ropes, then on the count is lights. Yeah, hit him with a left, hit him with a right, try swing back, dip to the sides, punchlines make the clash feel like a fight, got him with the ropes, then on the count is lights. With what? With a boom, blood, that's a haymaker, get a straight KO from my haymaker. You know what I get caught, sipping in the ring with a down, you will get a haymaker. One to the face, one to the chest, one to the body, that's a haymaker. Friends like, what happened to you? Then you tell them, I got a haymaker. I don't step in the ring with just any guy, fam. 10 wins straight, don't jeopardize that. Man, I get licked so hard with an haymaker that his mother would have recognized, man. Hospital bed from a Gemini bang. Don't act like, man, I never said that I can. Leave man with a lump so big on his face. Doc ran for about 20 ice packs. 20 ice packs, I've been training all night, fam. That's why I got blazed my right hand. Then you wake up with a referee standing over, man, and he be waving a white flag. Man said I couldn't last up for one round. Man don't know how hard that I swing. If I connect, man's gonna go down. All you're gonna hear is a bell. Hit him with a left, hit him with a right, try swing back, dip to the side, punchlines make the clash feel like a fight, got him with the ropes, then on the count is lights. Yeah, hit him with a left, hit him with a right, try swing back, dip to the side, punchlines make the clash feel like a fight, got him with the ropes, then on the count is lights. With what? With a boom, blood, that's a haymaker, get a straight KO from my haymaker. You know what I get caught, sipping in the ring with a down, you will get a haymaker. One to the face, one to the chest, one to the body, that's a haymaker. Friends like, what happened to you? Then you tell them that I got a haymaker. I don't step in the ring with just any guy, jigger. Man knows that Gemini's quicker. You swing, I duck, and then I strike with another bang that'll make a man
man, but she never ate tonight's dinner. Lying on his back, trying to relax. Better air in his lungs become 20 times thinner. You can try to attack, but I strike in a flash. You'll be hitting the floor again, never mind, nigga. Get one to the chest, I ain't playing. Get one to the face, now you're swaying. Another one, now man's laying on the floor, and I'm trying to work out what he's saying. Why? Cause all of his teeth be damaged. Now you might as well be speaking Spanish. How? Did man get up for the last one? Should've learned man a wreaking habit. Right hook, left hook, then it's just pow. 10 MCs.
Right then, friends, we're back inside the building. That one coming from GEMIN1, going by the name of Haymaker. It's an absolute belter. Just before we carry on with the conversation of kind of battling, which is where it always seems to end up when we have these conversations, I want to kind of know, in regards to like music then, obviously this is one of the tracks you've sent over. What's happening with this one?
This was originally made for my brother. He was a professional wrestler. Wrestler? Why am I saying wrestlers? That's how you know battle rap. Battle rappers always talk about wrestling. Nah, he was a professional boxer. And he just started and he played it like this was his entrance music, innit? For just walking out. And he like got played on Sky Sports and shit. It was lit.
Sick.
But then he stopped boxing. I think he's starting again now. I was bare pissed off at him, I can't lie. I got mad. I was like, bro, like you asked me to make you a tune. Like he asked me to make him like entrance music, innit? So I was like, oh yeah, sick. And then obviously he didn't want to do nothing with it. And then what is it? I was filming for it and I was chatting to and then come up with a mad idea. Come up with a whole idea, yeah. And I was just like, yo, that sounds hilarious. So obviously in the music video I tie up and this was trying to like, we tried to do it as a joke, but everyone got hilariously mad, which we found even more funny. We found even more funny in it because we knew people would get mad in it, but it was just like, yo, people are more mad that we like kind of put the mirror up. Like that's what I always say, like you're mad we put the mirror up in it, because the whole point of the whole thing was, because this was a period that I was mad. This was a period, yeah, where I look back and I'm like, I shouldn't have even took it upon myself to be mad, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. I was mad at just the way battle rap was. Like everyone just focused on the donut shit, and I wanted to prove that point, like that you lot literally will pay more attention to the donut shit than the real shit. Yeah. Like, I see Bamalam made a whole blog about this shit, yeah. Bamalam doesn't blog on battle rap in normal times in life, bruv.
Yeah.
Like, why you feel like it literally, but it pissed, like, it was one of them ones, yeah, because people jumped on it so much, they didn't want to see, like, the whole message behind it. I'm like, all right, cool. I was like, I didn't need to do this shit for anything. The video's hilarious.
Yeah, the video is funny, man. I remember seeing the video.
Hilarious.
I remember it. Okay, cool. Right, let's switch things around again then. Back to sort of this topic of kind of UK battling as a whole. Out to Juma in the chat, by the way. Good to see you this morning, my friend. Cracking on with this then. Obviously, there was a bit of controversy a little while ago when a certain UK battle did drop. I don't even know if you call it controversy anymore. But obviously a big UK clash, arguably the biggest clash that's happened in the UK in a couple of years, did take place, which was Shotty versus John the Don. And towards the end of it, from my understanding, he does kind of call you out. Like, has anything kind of come from there?
I mean, we've been in talks about that. Like, I mean, it's the only real logical battle for him, I feel like. I mean, he'd call me out, so I'm just kind of waiting for that to transpire. Like, for me, we could have done it. We could have done it at Apex, which is their event coming up. I've said on camera about Women Manchester. I've said, look, we can battle whenever them are ready. They're saying sometime next year, and it's so hopefully that goes down. But I'm at a point now where I just feel like, look, I know they want to make it like some glitz thing and make it like 500. Like, I don't feel like battle. It's what I was saying to you earlier. Battle rap don't have that capacity no more.
Yeah,
that's my opinion. I feel like we shouldn't try to maximize the sales on this. We should now like try and maximize the promotion on this and the look.
Yeah, I feel that.
Literally.
I feel to an extent with something like this, it's almost like the scale of it and the impact of it is almost like a little bit out of its time, because we're looking at almost a clash that will attract people back, essentially, who haven't been involved for a hot minute. But we're looking at it in a way where it's almost like it's a clash that almost belongs in a different era to an extent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I feel like instead of trying to make it some big stage thing, I say like we just do this in a pit. 200 people. Stop trying to, like, I feel like, you know, when you try to do a big venue and it don't fill out, the vibe's off. The vibe's fully off.
Yeah, I feel that.
Like, when you can walk around,
Yeah, I've always found that weird, and obviously you get this thing with sound as well when you're in an empty venue where you can kind of hear. It just sounds off, like you can hear the yourself like reverberating off all the walls because there's not enough people there to take that reverb away.
And you're giving man time to get bored. You're giving man space to get in a conversation. There's too much space. People can be at the back having combos and just chilling. Like, it's just, I feel like we should do it in a closed space. Like, I'd rather guarantee 300 people in the building than try and get 8 and there'd be 4.
Yeah, fully agree with you, man. I mean, that's something that I fully agree with, purely because, just to interject on it, just because even from like a show perspective, from a DJing perspective, I would 100% rather play a 300 sold out than a 400 in an 800. Like, it just makes so much more sense to do.
Yeah, and I think for what, like, where the scene's at right now, like, the glitz is out of this thing. Like, that's how I feel. The glitz is out of this thing. We need to bring the grit back. Put it in a pit. Fuck a big stage. Look, I know they gotta make it for however, like, he wants it. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. They're gonna make it however he wants. But I've said, look, I'm happy to do whatever their man want. I'd be happy to battle in Manchester, Birmingham. I don't feel like he'd battle me in London. To be honest, I don't feel like he would. That's one thing I will say. And I feel like, to be real, London's the place it should be, because we can get the most promotion, we can get the best looks in London. I can get more people. We can get more people in London that will promote it than we can in Manchester. And that's just being real.
Interesting. Like, why do you think he wouldn't do it in London, though?
I just think he likes battling in places that's... Look, I feel like he battled an American man in London. I don't feel like he battled me in London. It's too dangerous. Look, London's too neutral. We can say London's biased. Look, I've had loads of battles in London. I've seen Dialect beat Scoop in London. I've seen Raptor almost take my head off in London. You know what I'm saying? London fans, like I say, they're not man them. So they don't have the London pride too tough for battle rap. When you go outside London, all those type of ends have that kind of pride. Just anyone, if you go outside London, if you go Manchester, everyone's got Manchester pride. If you go Birmingham, everyone's got Birmingham pride. We don't have that. London's neutral. I feel like he's got to make it a situation that's not scary for him. Rather than me, 3 rounds in a pit scary, bro. I'm not even trying to hype it up like that. I wouldn't want to battle me in a pit. I would not want to battle me in a pit.
So would you say you've always kind of preferred that pit format then, rather than the sort of stage side of things? Because I get the impression, just from the way you perform, that you do.
To be honest, I didn't even know I was good in a pit until Tox. You got to think, like, I didn't really have that many pit battles. I battled in Bricks and Jam. Bricks and Jam was my smallest venue until my third battle was Raptor and Birthdays on the stage. Then it was Tally. Then it was Big T. Like, I didn't get a small room till I was a couple years in. My whole of 2015 was Ministry of Sound. That was Yunnan, Dialect, and Clips.
That's fair, actually, when you kind of break it down. It is quite mad. It's like, do you feel to an extent then you've almost missed out on that pit experience?
No, because I had 2 battles there. And they both, when I realised, the first time I stepped in a pit, because, I remember watching all these training day battles, and everyone's going off. And that's how bare people got their name of kicking ass in the training days thing. And then that's when Danny hollered me for the Tox battle. And I remember watching Scoop and Wilsey, and I went my brethren. And the crowd's going off. And I'm like, bro, they're about to go nuts. I literally knew, as soon as I see the dynamic, I'm like, oh, these just make they're way more involved. I was like, this is way easier. Like, I've been on Ministry of Sound. When I battled on Ministry of Sound against Dialect, that whole day the crowd was weird. Everyone will say that, that battle, the crowd was weird. I had them going mad.
Yeah. I remember. The thing I've always kind of remembered about the bigger rooms is, I feel to an extent people are a bit more nervous in regards to crowd reaction. People are a bit more kind of worried about going a bit mad in case they're the only person. Whereas when you're in that pit kind of environment, it feels almost a bit more tribal in the way that everyone will react accordingly.
Yeah, I'll just look. I'm not saying a small room. I say a pit format because let's bring back the gritty feel. Let's just bring back the gritty feel. I'll battle him on a stage. I'll battle him really and truly wherever they want to set up, because I feel like it's one of those situations for them. I feel like they have to make his situation for him. You know what I'm saying? When he battled Tony, it was in Manchester in front of, that they had to name it Manchester versus London. Why don't we do the second leg in London?
Yeah, that's a good shout as well.
Why don't we do the second leg in London? How about that?
It's a good shout. It's a really good shout. Well, we've nearly run out of time. It's absolutely flown by this morning. I've really enjoyed this conversation. Just kind of like to get a couple of bits for yourself. Like, in regards to the future, obviously that's something that's in discussion. I'm sure we'll see it popping up on the timeline a fair bit as we move forward. In regards to sort of like battles getting set up and seeing if and when it happens. I'm sure we'll be seeing it all over the timelines. But for the time being, is it just straight music for yourself?
Yeah, literally, like, unless like anyone hollers me battle-wise with something interesting. I told them me and Yizzy are ready to take off heads, but no one's really jumped out the water for that, so that's kind of gone to bed. But me and Yizzy were on that for time, but now, right now, it's just music, boy.
Just music. Okay, cool. Well, on that topic of you and Yizzy, we've got a tune here which goes by the name of Let That Go, obviously featuring Blacks as well. Talk me through this one. How did this one come together?
Yo, this one was random. When I first met Yizzy, we was just literally working on his EP, and then we went to Morpheus studio, and we just banging this out, and Blacks was there with Saffron, and obviously Blacks and Yizzy are from the same size. They're both from Lewisham, innit? So they know each other, innit? So man was just like, yo, do you want to jump on it? We jumped on it, and then from there, we just kept... That one always goes off when we was performing it. Because when it gets to Blacks' verse, he just starts going mad and gets a reload straight away. So, yeah, this tune just happened, like, organically. Like, I had a verse, Yizzy had a verse, and then Blacks came through, finished the tune for Yizzy. Yizzy was happy. He was finishing his EP quick time. So this was a good one. Awesome. And then I met Blacks, and Blacks is good people still.
Wicked, man. Well, I want to say, first of all, thank you for coming on the show. It's been really good to chat. I mean, to be honest, I'd like to set up another one of these just to carry on the conversation, because it's an interesting one. It's quite difficult, obviously, to squeeze that all into half an hour, and I'm sure there'll be more to discuss down the line.
Yeah, it's cool, bro. We've got to get man back.
Definitely, bro. Well, thank you for coming on. And
yeah, big love for having me, cuz.
No worries at all, my friend. We'll speak soon, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, sir.
Alright, bless my brother.
Bless, bro. Bless. Right then, my friends, it's been a very enjoyable show, but we are going to leave it there. Before we finish up, I just want to get into a couple of the shout-outs, of course. Please do make sure you are hitting that subscribe button at the bottom of the page if you are logging in for the first time. In regards to the socials, as you can see, I am on Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter, and, of course, SoundCloud, all of those at KXVU. Following that as well, you can check out the show via the podcast, which is available in the top right-hand corner, as you can see. Just go on to Spotify, Apple Music or SoundCloud and search Breakfast with KXVU, the interviews. You'll find it. There's nearly 200 in there now. We take all the music out and it makes for good listening. So there we go. The final shout out as well, Sharp and Digital. They obviously help the show out a fair bit in regards to the SEO, and as you can see, they are the alternative to hiring social media managers. They help the show out a lot. They help us grow significantly. As you can see, the official sponsor of Brekky In The Cave. Want to send a massive shout out to Gemini for joining us this morning. We're going to finish up with a banger from him, and then we'll be back same time tomorrow morning for a wavy triple threat. We have got Freshta, we've got DeLacy, and we've got the legendary N-Type joining us on the phone. It's going to be a fantastic show, so make sure you are locking in for that one. But for now, though, we will see you in the morning. Peace.
Yo. I'm in a chat online, no talker. I ain't no hero like Peter Parker. I just slap man out of his parker. Light skin but man can turn darker. Snitch, man I like talker. Things that you fast for best for run faster. Strike F with a movement, F with one of my brothers, and I advise that you run to the Gaza. Yo, I don't wanna hear no chat about bro. Man are not family, man are not show. This ain't a game like tic-tac-toe. So best mind but you stay on track. Bars them get a man pitch pan roll. Lord knows I don't wanna step back pan roll. But say something about mothers, any one of my brothers they gonna make man step pan roll. Live right now when it ends is cold. See bear man tryna let that go. All cool next man step to the wall. Tuesday now we can't let that go. Touch one hair on the head of a brother that man calls bro. Can't let that go. Let that go now tell a man no. Not to somebody let that go. This ain't a game like tic-tac-toe. See bear man get snake on roll. All by somebody they call bro. Now that brother can't let that go. Not to somebody let that go. We no beef don't stop in the end. Not to somebody let that go. I'm way more actions and less talk. Finna belly in a beast where it gets warm. No, it ain't all black and white round here. If you ever hear brother get his chest bored, get a vest on, that's stab proof. Man's Westbourne and dash tree. I got super drugs and them black boots, and I still do what I have to in blacked out garb, blacked out mask, fully blacked out in a blacked out car. Western shot, get that book. More time in the city in my trap house gone. Tech man's gal and a best friend offer. Make a rhyme, had a brother with her pants down far. Respect man when I'm in a step man's proper. When it kicks off I swear I'm gonna stand down lost and raw. You would get cut down to Ross and man round your jaw. Your nan's house or aunt, it's that now your mark. Can't back out the war. If you see me getting gritty then back down my dog and lord. Have mercy, which punishment is man worthy? Get Van Helsing, not Van Persie, cause I won't shoot but back the night early. Live right now when it ends is cold. See bear man tryna let that go. All cool next man step to the wall. Tuesday now we can't let that go. Touch one hair on the head of a brother that man calls bro. Can't let that go. Let that go now tell a man no. Not to somebody let that go. This ain't a game like tic-tac-toe. See bear man get snake on roll. All by somebody they call bro. Now that brother can't let that go. Not to somebody let that go. We no beef don't stop in the end. Not to somebody let that go. I got bro with me, you ain't never been like that. I men's ball day, don't do it like that. Unruly, man's just poppy like that. I gang ting, man, just got it like that. I got bro with me, you ain't never been like that. Men's ball day, don't do it like that. Unruly, man's just poppy like that. I gang ting, man, just got it like that. For acting up, you will not get Oscar. Mama turn to a chef for a boxer. Make them sweeties fly and box ya. When I come around, I fix your posture. I'ma fly over the table and box ya. I come down for acting popular. I'll let my little young buck get ya. And when they get around there, it's pressure. Cool in the cup for your head top. Man, tell your white teeth to a red top. Man, just stir when the job's done. And you're just pissed in the yard. And man, just bill it and laugh. Got my own thinking when I go harsh. I did it for the blue night, this is in charge.
Live right now when it ends is cold. See bear man tryna let that go. All cool next man step to the wall. True say now we can't let that go. Touch one hair on the head of a brother that man calls bro. Can't let that go. Let that go now tell a man no. Not to somebody let that go. This ain't a game like tic-tac-toe. See bear man get snake on roll. All by somebody they call bro. Now that brother can't let that go. Not to somebody let that go. We no beef don't stop in the ends. Not to somebody let that go.